Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The autumn wind is.
I'm not going to answer all these questions today. I think I've addressed it already. I can't remember a lot of the things that transpired 10 or 12 years ago. But
months ago, the Las Vegas Raiders and John Gruden officially parted ways. Earlier this evening, the New York Times uncovered a trail of emails dating back 7 years in which John Gruden had a clean sweep of offending NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, women, gays, minorities, all sorts of people.
This is something that had to happen. And when you look at the NFL and the progress that the NFL has made over the last decade, especially over the last 24 months, they've made so much progress. And for John Gruden to come out and this is something he couldn't deny. This isn't emails where you're going against what the NFL is trying to do.
And not forward in 21st century, like I said, man. National Football League, this hurts me. The clock is ticking, man.
And I'll continue to do that for the rest of my life. And again, I apologize to D. Smith and anybody out there that I have offended.
Well, where do we start, John Gruden? Where do we start? It's a huge story. The Raiders coach is out based on emails that he was caught up in, based on the Washington football team and the investigation of what's going on there with God knows what, everything I think from pill popping to, potential sexual harassment to complete dysfunction. 650,000 emails, and inside of these emails from 2011 to 2018, while John Gruden was working for ESPN/ABC/Disney, when all of that was going on, he was sending emails. The one that came to light the other day about the head of the NFL Players Union, Mara Smith, saying that his lips were essentially massive. From there, other things started to come out, where he was talking about Michael Sam, saying that the NFL shouldn't be forcing Jeff Fisher and them to draft a gay man, using disparaging words. Apparently sent naked pictures of women. Disparaged the NFL's high command, if you will, Roger Goodell. It was ugly. And his apology was pretty... It was like, you listened to this apology the other day, and I was like, that's all you got? Like, that's your apology? It's like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm kind of done with that.
I'm not going to answer all these questions today. I think I've addressed it already. I can't remember a lot of the things that transpired 10 or 12 years ago, but I stand here in front of everybody apologizing. I know I'm not, I don't have an ounce of racism in me. I'm a guy that takes pride in leading people together, and I'll continue to do that for the rest of my life. And again, I apologize to D. Smith and anybody out there that I have offended.
Yeah, he lost that locker room when that stuff came out. On top of that, think about this. You are leading predominantly people of color, African Americans. Plus, you have the only openly gay NFL player. He had no choice. He had no choice. And I think he thought for a while he could survive this, right? Well, it's the Raiders, right? The autumn wind. We're a little different. We say stuff. The NFL is I'm different. There was just something about that. That email, you just sit there and you're just like, my God, bro, you are not paying attention in this day and age. And there is a difference. People talk about the cancel culture world, and we're going to get deeper into this a little bit later, but there's a difference between somebody who put these things in emails, misogynistic, homophobic, racist, all of those things, And plenty of emails, too, by the way. Plenty of them. And I want to see who else is in this. Do not be surprised is if in the coming days that there is more issues that arise from emails that have been seized because of the Washington football team. Whether it's under other analysts, former players, it could be, even current coaches. That there are some things in there you're like, whoa. But there's a difference between this. And we touched on it yesterday. The professor at the University of Michigan who showed the 1965 Academy Award-winning movie Othello with Sir Laurence Olivier. But he's in blackface and him getting canceled for something insane. You're like, okay, there's where we go. I mean, that's a different. This right here, this is all him. And think about this today. What do you do from here? Is there a rebuilding if you're him? I mean, your life could, you probably got $40 million in the bank. You're not worried about where your next meal's coming from. But your livelihood at 58 is, for all intents and purposes, snuffed out. Do you think anybody's going to respect him in the NFL? Do you think anybody's going to give him a second chance? And the NFL's a second chance, third chance, fourth chance league. They'll overlook a lot of things. But we live in a different time. We do. Sour Lemon, you guys know him. Don Lemon is his real name.
And it's interesting that his response was that he had no racism within him. There wasn't a stitch of racism. If these emails are true, and it appears that they are because he is resigning, he has resigned, then it goes against everything that he said. And we hear often people saying, I'm not racist, I'm not homophobic, I'm not misogynistic, I'm not any of these things, when their actions actually show otherwise. No rate, but when you say someone's lips are, like Michelin tires and so.
And that's what he said about DeMarcus Smith. His lips look like Michelin tires inside of there. Other things. Again, there were naked pictures, apparently. There were, not only misogynistic, homophobic slurs and things of that nature. On the other side of things, there are people, even in the African-American sports, world. And Michael Wilbon is one of the most respected journalists, and he's on Pardon the Interruption. He came out yesterday. And he was very forward and honest in his opinion of this.
I've never had an interaction with John Gruden that wasn't pleasant. But what I'm tired of hearing people say, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I hate that phrase. Don't say it, okay? Because we all have prejudice in us. All of us. I do. Everybody does. What you should be able to say is, you should say, you know what? I try to control this the best I can. I try to suppress it. I try to keep this at arm's length. But I'm not a racist. Because I haven't heard anybody in a country where race is a big deal say, yeah, I said some stupid racist garbage. I did that. No one says that. All anybody says is, I'm not a racist. Again, John Gruden, good with me. My interactions with him have been great. But I don't want to hear that.
Probably the most honest thing said yesterday and in the last 24 hours on this. Every human being has some sort of bias. And there's difference. Remember, racism is a power thing. Bigotry is another thing. Racism is a power struggle. And I think there's also something to be made of this. I mean, John Gruden, for all intents and purposes, he had people's livelihoods on the line as a coach. Bruce Allen, who I think at the time was he the GM at the time, Phil, of Washington Football Club. Back then called the Redskins, things going back and forth. You got all of this stuff going on. This is the power structure where you can look at race and say, well, is there racism? Because you got two guys who are talking about race and saying certain things, flying back and forth. And there are questions there. But Wilbon's right. Show me a person that's not said something out of anger, out of frustration, out of a joke or something like that. Cast that first stone. Who is it? I know I couldn't do it. I don't think anybody could do it. But it's a big story today. It really is. It is. And I think we need to differentiate between, when people talk about cancel culture or whatever you want to call it comparatively to somebody being canceled. This guy was fired because, first and foremost, he had lost the locker room. If they're 5-0 and they've got their Super Bowl favorites, do they maybe rethink that? It's a possibility. I mean, this is a league that is not only second and third chances, where there are guys who've known to beat women, to do things horrific. And because their value is such, people are willing to give opportunities. Second and third chances. It'll be very interesting. We're going to talk about a lot of this today, a lot of stuff to break down. The Southwest as well. We're not quite sure. Somebody's lying when it comes to Southwest. Somebody's not telling the truth. And it's interesting. Yesterday, on my local show, we had a Southwest pilot call in. We spoke to him off the air. He's very interesting what he was telling us about some of the things that they were asking them to do, which he found to be a little bit odd. Interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com/Chad. Got home last night. My dog Doodle was bouncing everywhere. I love that. My puppies, I give it to my puppies as well. One thing I've noticed is their fur is amazing. And they're puppies. One's like 2 years old. One's 1.5. They're puppies. And their fur is just incredible. Always look like it's just been washed. And so much of that I attribute to the fact that I give them Rough Greens. It's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all these incredible things that go inside of this supplement that goes on top of the food. It is truly amazing. If you want to see your dogs happy and healthy, if you want to see them bouncing around with more energy, this is what it's all about. Try Rough Greens before you buy it. ruffgreens.com/Chad. When you go there, this is what you get. You ready? Free bag. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. Ruffgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MY-DOG-77. 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
There was speculation and rumors about this vaccine mandate. Right now, I just spoke with the head of the pilots union. He said absolutely not. Those are the words he used. That is not the issue here, he says, because what he says is this is all about not having pilots in the right place. He called this an internal Southwest issue, computer issues, planning issues, IT issues. All of these issues came together and caused this mess.
Okay, so somebody somewhere is lying when it comes to Southwest. The amount of cancellations was massive. And then one of the things was, we had computer glitches and there was issues here, there, and the FAA is like, they kind of blamed it on the FAA.
They blamed this multi-day mess mostly on air traffic control issues and bad weather. But in a pretty unprecedented move, the FAA actually fired back. They sent out a tweet and they said, well, wait a minute. There were no air traffic staffing issues over the weekend, and that the issues that some airlines were seeing are due to aircraft and crews being out of place. So they're really blaming it on Southwest.
And the pilots the other day said, look, this has nothing to do with the mandates, although they have sued. When it comes to the mandates, it was the amount of things that were canceled that people were asking questions of. It was horrific weather in places like Jacksonville on Saturday and Sunday. I watched the Jaguar game Saturday. Unless that is a different Jacksonville, I don't know if I'm buying that. I spoke yesterday to a pilot who was going out to the Jacksonville area. And they said it was weird. They told us to slow down at certain points. They told us to circle Memphis. And they said the whole thing was very interesting. But he said, no, it's just based on the number of flights. Like American Airlines, I think, canceled 2% of their flights. And then you look at Southwest, and you're in like the 30% range. You're like, well, that's somebody's lying about something. Somebody is. Don't know who, but I don't think everybody's being above board. And let's also not forget that when unions come in and they start pushing back on mandates and certain things, they're looking for the opportunity to go in and start negotiating something a little bit earlier and looking for more leverage and leeway because they know they're going to potentially have to give in some areas. And in giving in some areas, they're going to expect you to give in or to add something to that. So this will be very interesting. And Southwest has an absolute mess.
Until the company makes some changes in how they're doing business internally and scheduling our pilots, we're going to continue to see the problem.
Yeah. And what they're saying is, look, you're asking somebody who's based in Phoenix, right, to fly to Jacksonville and then fly back here to Phoenix and then fly to Los Angeles when maybe you have somebody who's already in Florida or Memphis or Atlanta. That should be the way it's done. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. They're saying it's not mandates. I don't know if that's all it, but I definitely know there's a lot more than meets the eye, and somebody's not telling 100% the truth. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. More on the Gruden emails and the fallout when it comes to this. And the NFL is making a push to be, to stop racism, to do all of these things, and to have this revelation of a coach who's arguably, I think he's the highest paid coach in the NFL, have these emails come out is, well, quite frankly, that does not help the NFL in their cause. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
All I can say is I'm not a racist. I can't tell you how sick I am. I apologize again to D. Smith. But I feel good about who I am and what I've done my entire life. And I apologize for the insensitive remarks. I had no racial intentions with those remarks at all. But yes, they can. I'm not like that at all. But I apologize. I don't want to keep addressing it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Here's the thing. You don't get to make that decision. John Gruden last night, who left the Raider organization, as you knew it was going to happen. I don't know how they thought it could go on, if he thought it could go on. The emails, lots of stuff in there. Lots of stuff in there. So went back to 2011. This had nothing to do with John Gruden originally. This was all to do with the Washington Football Club. So the Washington Football Club is, well, or football team or whatever you want to call it, there is a lot of issues going on there. There's investigations. Last week they came in and they went in and swept, took out I guess there's 2 trainers on leave. The DEA's investigating. This has all to do with a bunch of things that went on there. Pills, health and safety of players, things of that nature. So this didn't start out as that. But when they went in, the DEA and everybody came in, the feds, they seized emails. Inside, apparently, of these emails were emails between then I guess he was the color analyst of Monday Night Football at the time, up until 2018, and George Allen, who at that time, up until last year or the year before last, he was essentially the general manager of the Washington Redskins. And so this has all been caught up in there. There's sexist, racist, homophobic, transphobic, and these go on for years. Comments focused on players, referees, team owners, journalist Roger Goodell, as well as Barack Obama. And look, as a coach, you're going to have opinion about players, referees. Let's not for 1 second think that isn't real. But the stuff he said is ridiculous. And first, can I just say this? Why would you put anything ever in writing? Ever. I mean, honestly, why would you ever put anything in writing? Because you think you're never going to get caught. Right? And look, there is a difference. You can understand if, there's between the difference between what he said, how many things he said, and apparently he said naked pictures of women. I don't know, women he was dating or who knows what. But this was on him. This one's on him. Some people have come out and are extremely upset. Others are just like, it's horrible. This is the way it is. You're overreacting and you're making far more out of it than it should be. Jason Whitlock took Randy Moss to task. Randy Moss, who, by the way, is a former player. I was listening today to Keyshawn Johnson, who played with him. And Keyshawn's never had really nice things to say about him. He always said he was like one of those used car salesmen. Not a used car salesman that you see nowadays but like the old kind of, they're selling you something and they've rolled back the miles, and he was always kind of full of crap. And he never really liked him, but he said, but the energy and stuff, he got him a Super Bowl. So for that, he'll give him props to him. But Randy Moss the other night, he kind of, went off. And then Jason Whitlock had something to say about that.
And not forward in 21st century, like I said, man. National Football League, this hurts me. The clock is ticking, man. I'm sorry.
For us to be moving back, not forward. We went 10 years into John Gruden's emails, and we found racism in those emails from John Gruden back. We're not looking forward. We're not moving forward. The NFL, this hurts. This hurts. Those emails hurt me. Didn't they hurt you? I mean, oh my God. He said DeMar Smith has big lips. Oh my God. Can you believe that? DeMar Smith has big lips. And he said it in an email.
There's a lot more to it than that. He's done. He's out. We talk about cancel culture. It's because for me, I've never seen it's cancel. It's punishment. It's people that are wanting to punish other people, and they're seeing how far they can go. This was self-inflicted, and what he did was stupid. It was asinine. It was, he's not sorry. I don't think he thinks in his mind, look, do I know if he's racist or not? I have no idea. You have some people out there who are, that was Jason Whitlock. This right here is another well-respected journalist, to say the least. Both of these men are black, talking about him. And this is Michael Wilbon.
I've never had an interaction with John Gruden that wasn't pleasant. But what I'm tired of hearing people say, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I hate that phrase. Don't say it, okay? Because we all have prejudice in us. All of us. I do. Everybody does. So what you should be able to say is, You should say, you know what? I try to control this the best I can. I try to suppress it. I try to keep this at arm's length. But I'm not a racist. Because I haven't heard anybody in a country where race is a big deal say, yeah, I said some stupid racist garbage. I did that. No one says that. All anybody says is, I'm not a racist. Again, John Gruden, good with me. My interactions with him have been great. But I don't want to hear that.
John Gruden's fine with me because I never met him, so I don't know. Closest I've got to him is Frank Caliendo comes in here once in a while and he has this Gruden. I feel like he's not going to be able to do that anymore. It's funny, though. Did you hear? I think that was Hasselbeck saying, yeah, I'm a racist, too. We're all racist. Just get it out there. I got a bunch of emails and text messages. You guys are going to find out at some point in time. I'm waiting for them to say that. Oh, my God. Oh, it's sad, though. It's sad. But the difference between this and we talked about yesterday, the professor in Michigan who shows Othello in the classroom, and then students are upset because Sir Laurence Olivier is in blackface / blue. I don't even know if you've ever seen the movie. It won the Academy Award, by the way. It was a big movie back in the day, and you see it, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, it's 1965. Sir Laurence Olivier in blackface, and he almost looks like the precursor of Tropical Thunder and Robert Downey Jr. And people are so upset that they remove him from teaching at Michigan University because they can't handle this. He's taught there since 1995. A freshman complained about him. That's cancel culture. That's, I want to see what I can do to you. By the way, he's Chinese. He's a music professor. Not just that. I mean, he's been on the New York Philharmonic. He's been on the Chinese Philharmonic. This guy he's just basically said, well, you know, what are you going to do? And of course, he penned an apology. He says, I've tried to work with people of color throughout my career in an effort to display diversity, but that too was rejected by the student body. Oh, wait, hold on a second. You tried? This is being canceled because they don't like somebody. And they want to get their power struggle and show you what they can do. The other side of stuff was not that. John Gruden did what John Gruden did, and his remorse is the fact that he got caught. His remorse, you can hear it, and he may be absolutely remorseful, but, I don't want to talk about it anymore. All right, so you're done. I'm done want to talk about it. You're done. But this is the insanity right here where you sit there and you're like, this guy's like, so wait a minute. I show you this. By the way, Sir Laurence Olivier won an Academy Award for this. This classroom some of it is about Shakespeare. And you're going to get me out. One person said she thought there was something strange about the film and noticed how 4-time Academy Award winner was in blackface as he played the titular role of the Moorish king. I was stunned. In such a school that preaches diversity and making sure that they understand the history of the people of color in America. This isn't American. This is not about America. That to me drives me crazy. Different than what happened to Gruden. Different. What Gruden did was absolutely asinine and horrible, and he did it to himself. These people are looking for a reason to get people in trouble. These youngsters are looking for a reason to be offended so they can show that they are the power structure and not the professors. Gruden did something to himself. This guy didn't do anything. One graduate student said him stepping down was the bare minimum he should do. Well, what else should he do out of curiosity? I'm just curious. What should he do to make you feel better? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. It's the bare minimum he could do. It's the absolute bare minimum. He should do more. Well, what? Oh, no, just more. He should do more. Speaking of more, we've got issues at the ports. We've got issues on the shelves. What's Christmas going to be like? Because what we're hearing is the economy, high prices, things like that.
As for how long these higher prices might last, experts are divided. Some say these pandemic-related issues could ease early next year. Others warn they could be longer lasting.
We shall discuss. Absolutely. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet, text, Raycon, best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. Wear them all the time when I'm working out. Probably going to play a little golf today. Little bit of golf. I'll be honest, I've been working out a lot, and I overdid it on Sunday. So let's just say my legs are still on fire. But I love my Raycons. Just incredible. They start under $70. They're absolutely just amazing. The fit, the comfort, the noise isolating fit, the sound quality, the design, 45-day happiness guarantee. You get an amazing charging case that gives you up to 4 full charges before you have to plug it in and charge it up, so you don't have to worry about being tethered to a wall or something of that nature, which is incredible. Incredible how quickly it syncs. Incredible sound quality and design. But the thing I love about it, with the no stems, the no wires, the fit separates it from everything. You will love these. Get yours now. They start under $70 and save an extra 15%. Oh, by the way, 45-day happiness guarantee. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
As for how long these higher prices might last, experts are divided. Some say these pandemic-related issues could ease early next year. Others warn they could be longer lasting.
Yeah. I'm thinking you're going to see this much longer than you understand when it comes to some of this stuff that's going on. I don't think, first of all, oil and gas. Over the last couple of weeks, I have heard it's all Biden's fault. The moves that Biden and his administration are taking today are moves that will be felt in 5 to 10 years, not tomorrow. And you try to explain that to people, they don't understand. Well, he killed the pipeline. It has nothing to do with today. OPEC plays a big part of it. We're back on the road. There's less way to get oil from point A to point B because of the pipeline. No, because drivers last year said, no, I don't want to do this anymore, or they went out of business. You've had refining issues. When you see certain situations where there's hurricanes, weather, stuff like that, you have refineries. There's a lot of things that go into it. But on top of that, when those things become more expensive, so does everything else.
The cost of many of life's essentials now hitting the highest levels in years. The national average for a gallon of gas is now $3.27. That's the highest in 7 years. Only 8 states are still seeing prices under $3 a gallon, but it may not last for long. The cost of oil has just topped $80 a barrel for the first time since in 2014.
Yeah. OPEC is playing a big part of that. And then you go to all of the other stuff that's happening. One of those things is we've got lots of stuff sitting out in the water.
What happens with the railroads in the Midwest and warehouses across the country affects the number of ships that everyone sees in the harbor.
So you've got guys and some gals who've parked their trucks and they're waiting for what? Cargo to get off the ship.
We can't move containers off the vessels if there's not enough room on the dock to to facilitate that.
And then people freak out. And then?
If people panic buy like they did at the start of COVID, I think that it's going to be a crisis.
Yeah. Is there enough? There's always enough. It's getting it from point A to point B that is the issue. But as we've heading into holiday season, like I said over the weekend, I'm seeing more Christmas stuff than Halloween stuff right now. I'm seeing more Christmas and Thanksgiving shelves stocked as far as Santa Clauses and turkeys than I am seeing mass. We're there. So if you see something today and you think, I'd like to get that from my son or my daughter or from my wife or husband, you might want to grab it. Especially when it comes to toys and things of that nature. There might be a lot of rain checks. Like, Santa does rain checks? Yeah, you know that. It's weird, yeah. He's trying to reduce his carbon footprint. This might not be the 2021 Super Christmas that the Democrats, and in particular Biden and everybody, was hoping for. So, which, as we all know, will be felt in 2022 when we go to vote. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program to the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I'm not going to answer all these questions today. I think I've addressed it already. I can't remember a lot of the things that transpired 10 or 12 years ago, but
Months ago, the Las Vegas Raiders and John Gruden officially parted ways. Earlier this evening, the New York Times uncovered a trail of emails dating back 7 years in which John Gruden had a clean sweep of offending NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, women, gays, minorities, all sorts of people.
This is something that had to happen. And when you look at the NFL and the progress that the NFL has made over the last decade, especially over the last 24 months, they've made so much progress. And for John Gruden to come out and this is something they couldn't deny. This isn't emails where you're going against what the NFL is trying to do.
And not forward in 21st century, like I said, man. National Football League, this hurts me. The clock is ticking, man.
And I'll continue to do that for the rest of my life. And again, I apologize to D. Smith and anybody out there that I have offended.
Yeah, but you're gone now, and rightly so. Apparently, he had just finished building a $4.3 million home in Las Vegas. He was gone. He offended everybody. The one thing you can say about John Gruden, and this is not while he was a coach, because apparently he offended a lot of people as a coach as well, but most of that was to be expected because, you know what, you're going to get offended. I had a lot of coaches that offended that you would look at today that would be offensive in the way that they talk to people. He just finished building a house, but he offended everybody. He offended the gay community. He offended the NFL itself. He defended wokeism. He offended, apparently there was a bunch of naked pictures of women going around. And then, of course, what he said about Demarius Smith and his lips being the size of tires. Just a lot of stupid things. You got caught, bro. You're bummed because you got caught. You have to ask yourself a question. I want you guys to ask yourself this, right? Just for a second. You have a text message out there to somebody. An email to somebody, a direct message to somebody that's a friend of yours, that is a somebody, there was a group chat and somebody made a joke and you LOL'd and sent something of that nature that's out there, dangling out there. Everybody's guilty of it. I mean, everybody. Every human being is guilty. Black, white, gay, straight, trans, everybody is guilty of saying something disparaging to somebody, something, making a joke. There is not a human being alive that has not said or thought some. Thank God people can't read minds. If people could read minds, every human being would be canceled. Every human being. Me, you, everybody. Are you saying stuff like... Remember, instantaneous thoughts running through your head. Every male I know would be in trouble. Producer Phil, do you think every male you know would probably be in trouble?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that goes for gay and straight. By the way. So think about that. Now, not everybody is saying that he needs to go away forever, John Gruden. Not everybody does. The big headline is he said this about an African-American man as the head of the NFL Players Association about his lips, but there's a lot of other things in there. By the way, he really railed against Jeff Fisher and the NFL pushing them, they felt, to draft Michael Sam, who was the first openly gay player in the draft. And he now is the coach, or was the coach, of Carl Naismith, who is on his team, who is openly gay. This is Michael Wilbon, respected, to say the least, when it comes to being connected in sports, being one of the great writers in the country, just a really respected individual who also happens to be black.
I've never had an interaction with John Gruden that wasn't pleasant. But what I'm tired of hearing people say, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I hate that phrase. Don't say it, okay? Because we all have prejudice in us. All of us. I do. Everybody does. What you should be able to say is, you should say, you know what? I try to control this the best I can. I try to suppress it. I try to keep this at arm's length. But I'm not a racist. Because I haven't heard anybody in a country where race is a big deal say, yeah, I said some stupid racist garbage. I did that. No one says that. All anybody says is, I'm not a racist. Again, John Gruden, good with me. My interactions with him have been great. But I don't want to hear that.
Hasselback. Oh, yeah, I'm a racist, too. You guys have no idea what I think about everybody here. No, oh yeah. It's just it's awful. And this is the NFL too. It's the wokeism of the NFL, right? Every player's got something on the back of their helmet for the most part. Racism, Black Lives Matter, all of this stuff. This was just not good. And the other side of it is too. There's 650,000 pages that they seized. Let's not take our eyes off the other prize that the Drug Enforcement Agency is looking at and how they got these things. Has nothing to do. He got caught up in the tsunami of crap coming out of Washington with their football team. 650,000, and we're looking at 1,000 pages? Mark my words, there are going to be other people that are going to be caught up in something like this. There are going to be other people that are in some way, shape, or form have emailed, that were on email chains that said stuff back. They're going to get caught up like this. Maybe former players, maybe coaches, maybe analysts, maybe general managers. Yeah, this is some people are going to have trouble sleeping. But ask yourself the question. Do you have a direct message with your buddy? And there's 5 or 6 of you, and you said something disparaging about AOC or Ilhan Omar, or do you have something that you sent a funny meme 4 or 5 years ago that you not even thought about, or an email that you sent to your friend because you were upset about your boss and he or she or they or them or everybody's got something. Everybody. And if you say you don't, you're lying. Unless, of course, you don't use the interwebs. Then, maybe you don't. But I think for the vast majority of people, there's always something out there. Somebody said something. Somebody's done something. Wilbon's right. And there's a difference between racism and bigotry and being pissed off in a moment or thinking something's funny. But we don't take it that way. But this was something wholly different. What Gruden did was wholly different. And he paid the price for it. And he's 58 years old, wife, he's got kids. Yes, he's got money. I don't think the Raiders are going to have to pay him out, but the Raiders love him. Al Davis loved him. Mark Davis, who loved him as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him something to go away, but you never know. So we'll see what comes of it. But he's never going to work again, I don't think, in any real way, shape, or form at 58. I don't know if there's a comeback from this. I don't know. Now the question is you can do two things if you're him. You can take this and say, I screwed up in ways that are just abhorrent and not really what I was thinking, trying to be funny, trying to be locker room guy, just being an a-hole. And you take it and you run with it and you try to do better and be an example for others. Or you issue that, like, I don't really want to talk about this anymore, and enjoy whatever it is going to happen. Your life of solitude. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. So I had a couple people that I worked with yesterday who went and got boosters.
From the Canadian studies that we've been seeing, mixing and matching vaccines may not be as difficult as we once thought they were. So they are so far, it appears to be safe, but we'll have to wait for the FDA advisory committee to give us the final answer.
Yeah, so that's what they're looking at. Are we going to mix? Are we going to match? Can we do some of that? It's a mixed match. It's a mixed match. Now, I've got Moderna. I continue to say this over and over again. You consult your physician, your doctor, your husband, your wife, your trusted individual. Do not take any information from me because while I am a doctor, I am not a licensed medical professional. I had no problem with the vaccine. It didn't make me sick for a couple days. Producer Phil, did you get any ass-kicking day or two or no?
Nope, I got nothing at all.
Yeah, see, Maybe it's because you and I were just lied to and we just got water. We ain't anything real, and that's a possibility as well. It's all placebo effects. We're just a giant experiment. I don't know. All that being said, I had no issues. I didn't get a headache. I didn't have to stay home for a day or two, although you guys can play that up. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if somebody's giving you the opportunity, it's like, oh, my God, I got the second shot. It's kicked my butt. And if you're going to get a third, which some people are thinking about doing, but I implore you, talk to your doctor before you do anything, but actually talk to your doctor in a way where you're open-minded enough where you say, hey, let me ask you a question. I'm hesitant to get it, and this is why. And then see what happens. Because there's a lot of people out there that are still hesitant to get it. Oh, so you're all about it? No, I'm about you talking to your doctor if you're worried about, being tracked or any of that stuff. But also if you're worried about that you're going to grow a third limb or whatever that you think is going to happen to you. Somebody the other day said to me, he goes, well, that's because eventually you guys are all going to die. I'm like, you're going to die too eventually. So what? So let's say I'm 97 and on my deathbed, right? And you're going to be like, I told you were going to die. Really? You just don't get it. I'm like, so the goal is to eliminate the people that you think are going to be with them, so the people that will fight the powers that be will be the ones left behind. Okay. Interesting. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Don't really follow that logic, but I get it. People have their reasons. But, talk to your doctor. And the mixing and matching. Yeah, yesterday watching a couple of people around here, they were trying to get their third shot. One of them does have some comorbidities, and he has been extremely worried about it. I just, he was like calling all over where he could get his third shot because he had Pfizer and, they were only offering Moderna. And he's like, I don't know what will happen. I'm like, I think you'll be okay. I'm just saying. I'm saying my pillows, my slippers. Imagine wearing these amazing slippers indoors, outdoors, 6-day money back interior, 1-year warranty, 50% off right now. Let me tell you how amazing these things are. First and foremost, faux fur on the inside, leather suede on the outside. Tons of colors to choose from. Took them 2 years to put this together because they wanted a sole, if you will. The bottom of that thing to feel like you could walk inside and outside, not worry about it falling apart. You have to worry about that. My Pillow patented fill, followed by memory foam, followed by this amazing gel that's incredible, made out of soybeans grown right here in the United States of America. 50% off right now. Grab your My Pillow slippers. They make great Christmas gifts made right here in the United States of America. Top of that, they got great deep discounts on everything from the My Pillow to the mattress toppers to the Giza Dream Sheets, the towels, and everything. But save big, 50% off right now. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending.
What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending?
Let us take a peek and find out what's trending, shall we? Start on Twitter. Obviously, John Gruden trending, as is Tony Dungy, who talked a bit the other night about Gruden. And Dungy is an amazing man, an individual. He helped build that Tampa Bay team that Gruden took over that won the Super Bowl. Then he went to Indy and became the first African-American head coach to win the Super Bowl. And kind of, very much lives by faith and really in some ways wanted to see what would take place. And, with Gruden, and if there is any kind of redemption, so he is he's trending right now because Gruden, it's a big story, right? Big story, huge. Speaking of big stories, yesterday, and we're going to touch on this in a little bit. Rolling Stone has a special report about Eric Clapton and his vaccine skepticism, and oh, by the way, he's a racist. I mean, so if he wasn't a vaccine skeptic, he wouldn't be a racist. But because he's skeptical of the vaccine, he is a racist. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that's where we went. Democrats in 2022, there is a great piece in the New York Times, opinion piece. Right? It's an opinion piece. And a couple of things out there, but it is very interesting. You've got two issues going on. You've got some who say that Democrats are going to get handed their heads in 2022. Then there's another piece in there that essentially is Republicans asking other Republicans, elect Democrats in 2022 so we can beat Trumpism. Ooh, that's weird. Yeah. Understandable in some ways. Head on over to Google. Seattle Kraken makes their NHL debut tonight as the NHL starts its seasons. The Ravens' number one trending thing yesterday on Google. If you didn't watch the game last night, Lamar Jackson was otherworldly when they looked like they were done. They looked like they were down and out. They made a miraculous comeback. It was a great game. They won it in overtime. Even producer Phil, who much like me gets up at the butt crack of dawn, stayed up to watch the game. Boom. It's a hell of a game. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Man, it's Tuesday. I'm liking that. I'm going to get a taco later. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
They are escorting me out of the building. What's your title, sir?
Don't come near me.
What's your title?
Don't come near me.
Okay.
Keep walking.
And this is what happens when you stand up for freedom and when you show up to work, willing to work despite being unvaccinated. And this is the price you have to pay sometimes. But what they don't realize is that I'm willing to go lose everything. Job, paycheck, freedom, even my life for this cause. United we stand, divided we fall.
That right there is a guy named Christopher Rake, doctor, anesthesiologist. He was escorted from his job for refusing to get vaccinated there at the old UCLA. UCLA. You know what's very interesting? It's like, you heard the guy's like, don't come near me. Like, what do you think's going to happen? All right? Settle down. This isn't Raccoon City, okay? For those of you guys that don't know, it's Resident Evil. Like, you know, you're not going to turn into something. Don't come near me. Don't do it, bro. Some of this stuff. I'm watching the baseball game every night, and I don't know. No, I'll watch baseball during the postseason because it's there's drama, and I happen to turn it on at the right time. It was the White Sox and the Astros, and I hate the Astros because they're a bunch of cheaters, which they readily admitted they were. But baseball, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. But Dusty Baker comes out of the dugout. He has a mask on. He's got his glasses on. And I love Dusty. I grew up a Dyer fan. Dyers! Dusty was part of that team, man. Say, Garvey, Dusty Baker. I mean, oh, God, Lopes. It's just great. So he's got surgical gloves on. He's got rainbow, like, sweatbands that I'm like, that go from like his wrist up to his elbow. I don't know what he thought was going on out there, but I was like, wow, that's crazy, man. No, it's nuts. It's nuts. But Christopher Rake, doctor, is like, dude, I'm done, right? Like, this is, you know, this is it. This is what I got to do. I'm done. You know, you're going to walk me out of here. And that's it.
For me, this is kind of the beaches of Normandy, right? This is our generation's World War II, and maybe it's the World War III, and this is the war that we fight without arms. This is an ideological war. This is a war against totalitarianism. We now have to fight against a tyrannical government, which is saying that you have to take these injections or you can't be involved in society. You can't go to your kid's high school basketball game. You can't go to the grocery store, to the church, to wherever it may be.
Well, two things. First, be honest. Depends on where you are, obviously. California is one of those places that is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Some of the insanity of which California is putting out there, in New York and a few of these other places, is incredible. This generation itself, this younger generation, millennial generation. So I grew up, so you had the greatest generation, right? And then you had the baby boomers. So the greatest generation had their World War II. They had the fighting, the tyranny, and the Nazis and all of that stuff. The baby boomers, nuclear generation, they had Korea, but they also had the Cold War. Generation X, my generation, we had the Cold War, and then we had, you know, the Saddam Hussein, and this younger generations had to fight on terror, but they're super detached from it. They don't have that great thing. But the younger generation is buying into, get shots. That's it, man. Fantastic. Get shots. Don't push back. Freedom's silly. Who needs freedom? It's not a big deal. No, it is. I am pro getting the shot. But I am more pro freedom and choice than I am giving the shot. 100%. Talk to your doctor. I like the fact that this guy is, you know what? He's putting his money where his mouth is. I'll say the same thing to Kyrie Irving, even though he's an odd character. Not going to lie to you. He's the basketball player who essentially is about to lose anywhere between $16 and about $18 million because he will not be allowed to play for his team at home. And so they're just going to have to figure out how to deal with it. And he's an odd bird. He's a flat earther, which I got nothing with, right? To each their own. But, and this is a guy who last year, I remind everybody, they had team pictures, and he shows up, and he's not in the outfit, and he's just, it's like, he's in like, and he's got a hat on, and he's like, I'm not taking it off. And you're like, okay. So it's like, why is this guy in jeans and stuff? He's a different cat. But he's willing to go to the Met for this. Some people aren't. This doctor, Dr. Rake, is.
Number one, it's really young. There's not enough evidence supporting its safety. There are some concerns I have about it. I think this is the greatest human rights violation of our time to say that the government can inject you with these things. Personally, I'm not ready to take the vaccine yet. I don't think it's been proven safe.
Well, and he's got every right to have that. You should have every right to have that belief. You should have absolutely every right to have that belief. And in the day and age, you can't. You can't have that belief. Right? There's a lot of things you're not allowed to do. Yes, I think it's called the Asher test, the Ash test. And it's very interesting. So this back in the day, this I think he was a psychologist. He did this test. And the test was he invited a bunch of actors to participate in the test. And he told them all, look, these 3 lines, 4 lines, whatever, it's 5 lines, depending on, because they did several different ones. This one's the longest. We know that. But this one is like the second or third longest. But you guys are to say that this one, it's not the longest. You're to say it's the longest. And we're going to bring in students, and we're not going to tell them that you're actors or any of that stuff. We just want you to be. And over and over and over again, the majority of people chose to side with the actors because they didn't want to feel like they were out of the group. They went against their nature because they didn't want to feel that they were out of it. They went against what they saw with their own eyes. And it's not like is it the blue, is it the gray, or whatever that thing was, silver dress thing. It was one of those things where it was done in such a way. And more, and a majority of students that came in, like a vast majority, almost 80% said, no, yeah, you guys are right. This one's the longest line. Knowing full well it wasn't. Knowing full well it wasn't.
I'm being escorted out of UCLA for standing up for medical freedom, despite coming to work, willing to work. I just can't believe that this is what they're doing right now. I'm going to fight for all of us that came to work despite being unvaccinated, willing to work. And this is not okay.
Yeah. I find some of it ridiculous. UCLA wants to do that. That is their prerogative to do such things. It is. But some of the stuff they're doing, and this is not just them, it's everywhere. Listen to this. This is yesterday. His name was Christian Walker. He's a UCLA student who's already paid to go to school, who's a little upset over the fact that, well, vaccines.
Dropping students after they've already paid for classes if they don't upload their vaccination status.
The Student Health and Wellness Center conducts the COVID vaccination, and we keep track of your records.
And you're calling to tell me you will drop. You're calling to tell me you will drop my classes after we've already paid $70,000 for the year if I don't upload something about my vaccine status when all my classes are online. That's what the call is about?
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Best part.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, you're online and you're not vaccinated. Some of it's insane. Look, I'm all for the shot. Zero problems with it. I want to know more about, I'm more worried about the mandates. I'm more worried about unwinding power from these municipalities, these local agencies, both the feds and the states and everywhere in between, that, so many people decided that let's just, we've got, they say we have to, so we must. And it was like, slow down, everybody calm down. All that being said, we have overreached in many cases. We've seen people willingly give away freedoms and trade certain things because they feel they're going to get some sort of safety out of it. And in doing so, not understanding what the consequences may be down the line. Well, Jed, what if people get sick and die? People who don't have the vaccine, the vast majority of people, not talking about the people who think that if they go near, a 5G tower, they're going to become a magnet or that they're being traced. The vast majority understand that there is a risk, and they're willing to take it. They are. It's time to get back to normal. It is. But when you see stuff like this, it just makes you shake your head. It does. And don't think the media is telling you everything that's going on. Oh, it's only one person. There's a lot more than that. Will they report it? No. And I'm not talking about the Foxes or the OANs and the MSNBC. They're playing games. So the regular local media will give you more on what's going on than the people who are pushing agendas. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. This amazing apology.
I'm not going to answer all these questions today. I think I've addressed it already. I can't remember a lot of the things that transpired 10 or 12 years ago, but I stand here in front of everybody apologizing. I know I'm not, I don't have an ounce of racism in me. I'm a guy that takes pride in leading people together, and I'll continue to do that for the rest of my life. And again, I apologize to D. Smith and anybody out there that I have offended.
Man, I can't believe that wasn't enough to save his job. He seems super contrite and super sad. Look, man, I'm sorry about everything. Kind of sucked. Gruden gone. What are the ramifications? We're going to touch on that, as well as, and this is something I think that is going to be interesting to watch, that I doubt many people will be talking about today, but I'm weird enough that I want to talk about this. What's the NFL going to do? Because the one thing we know about the NFL, the absolute one thing we know above everything, and I mean everything, they protect their own. That shield, that badge, they protect that. Big time. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Raycon makes listening to music better. Listening to podcasts better. You will love your Raycons. Start under $70, 45-day happiness guarantee, 1-year warranty. Means if it breaks for whatever reason, send it back. Boom, they send you a new one. Ray J put together sound quality that's amazing, a fit that is incredible. No stems, no wires, incredible charging case, opportunity to wirelessly charge as well, which is amazing. Awesome microphone, so when you're talking to people, they hear you and you hear them, which I think for many of us drives us crazy. So many incredible things with these, and he did it at a price point that's just truly incredible. If you want the best sound quality at a price that's not going to break your bank, it's called Raycons. Get your Raycons. They start under $70. Save an extra 15%. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad today to save big. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
In the overall economy, what else matters to the average American? Gas prices. And gas prices in October of 2021, they are at its highest point since October of 2014, $3.19. Now, obviously, there are a number of issues as to the reason why, but trying to explain OPEC Plus to a person who has to fill up their tank at $3.19 doesn't necessarily work super well if you're the White House. And another looming and very real issue going on.
Yeah, a lot of issues. If you're the Democrats right now, you are looking at the Republicans and thinking to yourself, if we don't get some of this stuff passed, if we don't see some inflation fighting measures take place, if we don't see some of these energy prices rise, fall, if we don't see some of these things start to turn, this tide to turn in a way, we're going to get served, as they would say. Another one of my worst favorite movies of all time. If you've never seen You Got Served, there's two movies that are so bad I will watch the whole thing all the way through. You Got Served and The Pacifier. Don't ask me why. It's none of your business. I don't know why. Saturday afternoon comes on. It could be 2 minutes in. It could be 45 minutes in. I'm like, I'm finishing this. I don't. Cancel the wedding. You Got Served on. But they're going to get served. They're fighting over lots of money, and the moderates want certain things taken out of the bill and some stuff reduced in the reconciliation bill. The $1.2 trillion actual infrastructure bill is still dangling out there based on the reconciliation bill. So it's all or nothing, and they're fine with nothing. They're hanging on by the thread when it comes to the Senate. And there's tons of vulnerability when it comes to the House. They could be in some serious trouble. They could be. Let's be real. You better start figuring it out. You better start. And when you're hearing people talking about the fact that there's bare shelves and panic buying and this thing may go on longer and longer than people realize, and you know, you got issues when it comes to inflation and groceries and shrinkflation, you better start to figure things out, because between Afghanistan, COVID, that's a battle that's still going on. The loss in certain areas of what people are seeing as freedom, which is very real. The rise in some crime, violent crime. I'm putting it out there. Think about this, okay? So, Afghanistan, COVID, inflation, immigration. You're like, oh, God. Just, what else? Is there more? Oh, there's more. There's you can look around. There's a ton more coming your way. People are getting frustrated and upset. But Biden doesn't have to worry at this moment in time. He's not up for re-election, but many are. And Biden could be looking at a situation where it is a red wave and a red tsunami that gets many of these people out of here. So we'll see what takes place. But there's a lot of issues, and the Democrats they're floundering. Their message is all over the place. It's all over the place. And if you have control of everything and you don't get anything through, that is absolute mass dysfunction. So you better start figuring things out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, your Getter, your Gram. I don't know what else the kids are on. Start making stuff up from now on. See if people start following me in places that don't exist. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He's been fired or he's resigned. And it matters because I'm sure his contract says certain things about what kind of money he's going to get. John Gruden, how could you not want to give him a second chance after this heartfelt? I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
I'm not going to answer all these questions today. I think I've addressed it already. I can't remember a lot of the things that transpired 10 or 12 years ago, but
months ago, the Las Vegas Raiders and John Gruden officially parted ways. Earlier this evening, the New York Times uncovered a trail of emails dating back 7 years in which John Gruden had a clean sweep of offending NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, women, gays, minorities, all sorts of people.
This is something that had to happen. And when you look at the NFL and the progress that the NFL has made over the last decade, especially over the last 24 months, they've made so much progress. And for John Gruden to come out and this is something they couldn't deny. This isn't emails where you're going against what the NFL is trying to do.
And not forward in 21st century, like I said, man. National Football League, this hurts me. The clock is ticking, man.
And I'll continue to do that for the rest of my life. And again, I apologize to D. Smith and anybody out there that I have offended.
It's not enough. You're gone. You're an asshat. What were you thinking? It's the best way to describe. I mean, like off the air, the things I would say would be far worse. You're not bummed. I mean, you know, look, do I know if he is racist? No, I don't. I don't know the guy. I don't know what's in another person's heart. There's a lot of people out there who virtue signal all day long, but some of which I have known who scream out loud to be absolutely uber progressive. But when you're hanging out with them and you know them, they're anything but. Do I think that he's a racist? No. I think he's an idiot. I think he's sad he got caught. I think he's got maybe, you know, and just, he's an idiot. And this is what happens. Some of the stuff he put out there was horrific. Some of it, you know, like some of their talk about, he said stuff about players that had nothing to do with race, just about players in general. Like, that's coach, right? Like, that's what coaches do. By the way, we live in a world, and I'm taking this off because at the time, you know, what he said about, you know, D. Smith, who was the NFL player rep for the unions, what he said about Michael Sam and the Rams, and what he said about some of the other things and the naked pictures going around, things like, you got to be smart in that, dude. Come on, get your head out your butt. Saying certain things about players, how hard they're playing, things that's you're at the time he was an analyst for Monday Night Football. So, but a lot of this stuff was ridiculous.
There was a wide range of emails that were examined. And Bruce Allen, who was an executive with the team for years, his emails were examined as part of this. And he got an email from John Gruden back in July of 2011 when Gruden was working for ESPN, not coaching any team. But there is in that email, and Gruden has not denied it specifically. He says he doesn't remember it, but he's not disowning it. There is a racist trope that Gruden uses in connection with DeMaurice Smith, the NFLPA executive director at the time of a lockout that was moving toward a conclusion. Gruden, he was frustrated, he was upset, and he was apologetic about what language he had used.
Yeah, and he said, D. Smith, essentially, that his lips were like tires. He's gone. There's nothing else you could have done at this point in time. He needed to go. You're not saving that. You're not. There wasn't going to be saving him. He did this to himself. He did. But Michael Wilbon, who I respect and I like, and if you guys have not seen Pardon the Interruption, Tony Kornheiser and him, they've been doing this for God knows how long. And he's also a celebrated writer for the Washington Post. And he's black. I'm going to point that out. He's black. So nobody's like, what? He came out and he said this.
I've never had an interaction with John Gruden that wasn't pleasant. But what I'm tired of hearing people say, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I hate that phrase. Don't say it, okay? Because we all have prejudice in us. All of us. I do. Everybody does. So what you should be able to say is, you should say, you know what? I try to control this the best I can. I try to suppress it. I try to keep this at arm's length. But I'm not a racist. Because I haven't heard anybody in a country where race is a big deal say, yeah, I said some stupid racist garbage. I did that. No one says that. All anybody says is, I'm not a racist. Again, John Gruden, good with me. My interactions with him have been great. But I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. You come out. People don't want people to come out and I think be honest. Is there ways that you can take this? Yeah, you know what? You go out and you say, you know what? I was an idiot. Absolute clown. What the hell was I thinking? I was frustrated, pissed. I said stuff that I shouldn't have said. And for that, I am absolutely apologetic. There was locker room talk. There was something that, you know, but there was too much. It wasn't a once-off incident. I think one-off incident, two-off incident. You know, we looked at 1,000 emails, which had nothing to do with Gruden, by the way. They were looking at this based off of what was going on with the Washington football team. And not because of the name, but because players are saying, hey, they're giving pills away and they didn't care about player safety and the DEA's involved. So that's what they were looking at this. There's not a lot that you were going to do to save some of this. And not in today's climate. Just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't. Again, I don't know if he's racist or not. I don't know. I don't. He was making $10 million a year at a 10-year contract. He was in the third year of his 10-year contract after coming out of the booth where he'd been for several years, Monday Night Football. And they tried to save him in the sense that they wanted to pay him a bunch of money. But in a game where predominantly it is black men inside of a locker room, and they hear some of this stuff, and they read some of it, that was going to be tough to come back from. That was. On the other side, you said stuff about Michael Sam, and you have the only openly gay professional football player, and Carl Nesmith, on your team. That was going to be tough as well. And that locker room is always fragile anyways, and I'm not just talking about the Raiders, I'm talking about pretty much everybody's locker room. If he's 5-0, does he survive this? I don't know. But my big question outside of all of this, what else is in there? The NFL has shown us one thing over and over and over again, whether it be the for years, the lying about concussions and the hiding it and player safety and many other incidents that took place with players off the field on what they're willing to do to protect the shield, to protect the brand. What else is in here that can hurt owners? What else is in here that can hurt other general managers and presidents, that could hurt teams? What else is in here out of these 650 that had nothing to do with the investigation, but potentially could get out and damage people and players and reputations and things of that nature? Because we know what they're willing to do to protect the brand. We know what they're willing to do. And while John Gruden is gone, that was his own doing. At the same time, if you think there was stuff in there that Goodell had said, you think he's going to protect it? If you think there's stuff in there that could cause other owners to be in certain trouble, you think they would be able to protect that? I think they do everything they could. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Yes, right, kids. I do. I love hearing from you. Southwest is on day 5 of insanity? I think that's the best way to describe what is going on with Southwest Airlines.
There was speculation and rumors about this vaccine mandate. Right now, I just spoke with the head of the pilots union. He said absolutely not. Those are the words he used.
So absolutely not.
Not the issue here, he says. Because what he says is...
Wait, it's not the issue. So the vaccine mandate is not the issue.
Because what he says is this is all about not having pilots in the right place. He called this an internal Southwest issue, computer issues, planning issues, IT issues. All of these issues came together and caused this mess. Okay, here's something. One of the things they said, it was a computer issue, and they kind of blamed the FAA for certain things. So it's interesting because somebody's not telling the truth, or people are giving you a portion of it, because they are suing the pilots union, and some of that's just deployed to negotiate because they realize, hey, you know what, if we start suing and we do some stuff, there's a chance that we're going to be able to get a few things. You know what I mean? Or there's a chance we're going to get a few things here that because we're going to have to give in on something, but we're not going to give in on something and not get nothing in return. So we'll push back. But they've kind of left it out there, like, let people believe that it was the pilots, potentially, that caused this mess. Giles this mess. Okay, here's something. One of the things they said, it was a computer issue, and they kind of blamed the FAA for certain things. So it's interesting because somebody's not telling the truth, or people are giving you a portion of it, because they are suing the pilots union, and some of that's just deployed to negotiate because they realize, hey, you know what, if we start suing and we do some stuff, there's a chance that we're going to be able to get a few things. You know what I mean? Or there's a chance we're going to get a few things here that because we're going to have to give in on something, but we're not going to give nothing in return. So we'll push back. But they've kind of left it out there, like, let people believe that it was the pilots, potentially, because that way it doesn't make them look bad. Then they said stuff about, well, it's the FAA, as you know, and some of the computers and the outages in places. The FAA said,
They blamed this multi-day mess mostly on air traffic control issues and bad weather. But in a pretty unprecedented move, the FAA actually fired back. They sent out a tweet and they said, well, wait a minute. There were no air traffic staffing issues over the weekend, and that the issues that some airlines were seeing are due to aircraft and crews being out of place. So they're really blaming it on Southwest.
Yeah. So it's this is a hot mess. But if you're stuck somewhere, you don't care whose fault it is, right? Like, you don't care. You paid almost $9 for this ticket. You don't care. That's why you fly Southwest. People are like, I'm never flying Southwest again. Like, yeah, you are. Yeah, you will. Like, if the plane you're on crashes and you survive, you'd be like, I'm never flying them again. Okay. If you went and search 65 different places to find a $39 ticket from Rochester to, to wherever you flew, right, to Boca, and it's Southwest, you'll fly it again. You will. This one's 127. This one's only 39. Okay, let's fly that one. It's Southwest. Yeah, but they fix stuff. 323-538. 2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Always love that. If you're shopping based on price, then you're going to fly whatever's the cheapest. If you're shopping based on comfort and price is not an issue, you're going to shop whatever's the best for your needs. I tend to think we're more a shopping-based society on price more than anything else. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Oh, my Lord. We got so much to get to. Chappelle is getting defended while others are attacking. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well. Inflation going up. That is not a good thing, kids, especially if you're the president. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Haven't started your holiday shopping yet? You may need to deliver those Christmas or Hanukkah packages in person. The Postal Service is out with its mailing deadlines, and the first one is just around the corner. It's November 6th for retail ground service. Yep, that's just a week after Halloween. It's due to changes that the USPS is making in order to save money and be more competitive. It also slows things down a bit. The fastest option is still Priority Express, but that's a day earlier this year, December 23rd. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Oh, my God. What are we going to do? So prices are going up. Things aren't going the way we thought. This stinks. Next thing you know, it's going to be more expensive to go to the dollar store.
One of the last true dollar stores, Dollar Tree, is about to give in to inflation and rising shipping costs. And many longtime shoppers are not happy about it.
Some paper towels and some birthday cards.
At a time when drugstore greeting cards can cost $6, here they're still $1. As are wrapping paper and gift bags, food, home decor, even Halloween and Christmas items.
I don't think it's right for them to raise the prices. You go in there to get for $1, and then they tell you it's $1.50. They're gonna change all their signs.
I don't even know what to say at this point in time. Can you believe this? It's costing more at the dollar store. That is tragedy. That's inflation. That is inflation. It's not very nice. But you still get a lot of stuff in there for $1. But there are other things. We have the Dollar General, and we have Dollar Tree by us. In fact, we have a Dollar General, a Dollar Tree, and then about 2 miles away we have another Dollar General. Because where I live is very small. We do not have it's rural. I mean, it's like as rural as you get. So like that is what you have and your choices. And you go into the Dollar Tree or Dollar General, we have a brand new Dollar General. It's pretty nice. It's a mini, it's like going into a mini shrunken Walmart, if you will. Like they shrunk it down to the size of a tiny warehouse. But not everything in there's a buck. I mean, you're not spending a ton. But, the last time I remember going someplace where, like the 99-cent store, where you would go there, and it was when I was in Palm Springs, Rancho Mirage right there, we had the 99-cent store. And if it didn't, like 99% of the stuff in there was like 99 cents. But then they would have some stuff, and it would say, sorry, this is $3.25. But it was very few things.
It really shouldn't come as a surprise if you've been to the hardware store, grocery store, clothing store lately. Prices are up everywhere because of higher raw material and shipping costs. The good news is that not everything in the store is heading up. Dollar Tree says it plans to raise prices on some items to $1.25 to $1.50. It will also convert parts of many stores to Dollar Tree Plus formats with prices as high as $5.
Ooh, Dollar Tree Plus. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Little Dave Chappelle. Immigration still a nightmare for this administration. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Andrea Babinski is among the tens of millions of Americans who are eligible to get vaccinated against COVID-19, but haven't. And what's more, she's been a nurse at Gunderson Health System in La Crosse, Wisconsin for more than 12 years.
Ever since this mandate came down, many more people are quitting and leaving healthcare. A choice between a personal healthcare decision and, the job that we love.
You would lose your job over this.
Obviously, it's heartbreaking. It's almost like a grieving process, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. People are losing their gigs. They're losing their gigs. We touched on it a little bit last night. We've touched on it over the last, couple days. There are people out there that are willing to say, I've had enough. I've had enough. Remember this, Christopher Rake, doctor, anesthesiologist, UCLA.
They are escorting me out of the building. What's your title, sir?
Don't come near me.
What's your
not
title?
a title.
Don't come near me.
Okay.
Stay walking.
And this is what happens when you stand up for freedom and when you show up to work, willing to work, despite being unvaccinated. And this is the price you have to pay sometimes. But what they don't realize is that I'm willing to go lose everything. Job, paycheck, freedom, even my life for this cause. United we stand, divided we fall.
Ooh, he's serial about this. Yeah, he is. And I applaud him for it. But Chad, you've got the vaccine. I do. I've absolutely got the vaccine because I did my homework and my research and I said, you know what? I am fine with it. Plus, I was a risk taker because I was willing to go and try it, kind of before you buy it. It's like, I'm fine with that because I'm a bit of a risk taker. Not as much as I used to be. I got little ones, the whole 9 yards. In saying that, I also did the homework, and I've got friends who work for both large pharmaceutical companies and they're doctors, and I chatted about it, and, they gave me real numbers and understanding of stuff, and I have zero problems. And I am pro getting the shot. I don't say it's a vaccine, but I'm very much pro getting the shot. But I'm more pro freedom, and I'm more pro choice. And yes, that includes, what about women? That's totally fine. Again, there's a lot of things, by the way, our government tells us we can't do with our bodies. I remind you of that all the time. There's plenty you can't. You can't just sell a kidney. It's your kidney. Why can't I sell it? It's a business transaction. Well, then poor people will be taken advantage of. They're getting paid. So there's plenty. All that being said, there are people leaving. There are situations that aren't going reported because people don't want to talk about that because it doesn't fit a certain narrative inside of the mainstream media world. That some people are going, you know what? No. And some people are misguided. Some people very much are misguided. But you hear Dr. Gupta here is trying to talk to a nurse who's got worries about a vaccine. This is not an idiot. But she's got some worries.
One of her specific health concerns, blood clots. If you were my patient, I would tell you, look, I hear you're concerned about clotting, but if you have a clotting disorder, you should get the vaccine because you'd be at increased risk of clotting if you got the disease.
You know that very well with this pandemic, this vaccine, this virus. The science is constantly changing.
But I think with the vaccines, I think when you have close to 6 billion shots that have now been administered around the world, and you have data, trial data from last year that shows the safety and the effectiveness of these vaccines.
That's real, right? You've got real data. And I look at the data and the data, whatever you want to call it, data, all right? Schedule. And I say to myself, self, I'm good with that. I am. I'm good with that. And I went and did it. No problem with it. And for a while there, I was like, I would be kind of neat to be magnetic, but I wasn't. So I just want to let you guys know that. Didn't grow a tail. Can't breathe underwater. None of the cool things. I'm getting X-Man skills. But there is a lot of that. The problem is everything became so hyper-political. You know what I would do with the new pill that's coming out from Merck if they get FDA approval? If I'm Biden, I go, here's the deal, guys. None of you talk about this. Fauci, you do not say a word. If they ask you to come on to talk about this, you say no. You say no. Let's let this thing be the least political thing ever. Then I go to Johnson & Johnson. And I say, you know, you guys have that one and done shot? Yeah. We're going to rename it. We're going to call it the Patriot shot. Give it some name like that. Right? The Super American Freedom Shot. And they'll be, oh my God, what is it? Yeah, you guys know about this? You take it, it's great. It fights wokeism and critical race theory and all of those things. It's the Super Patriot American Freedom Shot from Johnson & Johnson. America! Give them a shot. It's red, white, and blue. Just put the filler around it. Put some of that, some of that dye in it, like for cookies and stuff. It won't hurt them, and you give them the regular shot, and we'll be good. It's not a bad idea, Chad. I like where you're going with this. Yeah. Take the politics out of it. That's why I think the pill will be a little bit different. But I would tell everybody, do not talk about it because you're going to screw it up.
At the end of the day, informed consent is what we all honor in nursing. I've stood up for a lot of my patients over the years that were feeling pushed into something, and it's their body. It's a choice that they should make for themselves and that I should make for myself.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it should be that way. It should be that way. It should be. And we've gotten to the point where if you want to make that choice for yourself, you're not making a choice based on, and there are some people that are making the choice based on insanity, and there are some people out there that would get 5 or 10 shots if given the opportunity. Let's take those extremes away, and somebody like her is saying, you know what, I feel like it's my choice, and I'm making this decision based on this, whatever it is, that's none of our business, and I can respect that. And that's where we've lost the plot, because instead we've turned it into you hate other people. And that's not good. That doesn't help. That doesn't move anything forward. That just pisses people off and divides us even more. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. So Dave Chappelle, I don't know if you guys are aware of Dave Chappelle. He's a pretty funny guy. He has got his Netflix special out, which I watched, by the way. Friends, you did? I did. I watched it. Watched it in its entirety. I did not find it to be all the evil that was, but I understood people did. Completely understand that. I also understand in this day and age, people will be offended by anything. So Netflix has just gotten tons of pushback from outside organizations as well as within their organizations.
Comedian Dave Chappelle has been under fire from LGBTQ groups and advocates over his latest Netflix special, The Closer, with some calling for the streaming service to close The Closer, but that's not happening. Variety reveals that Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos sent a memo to employees Friday saying Netflix would not be removing the show. He says they don't allow titles on Netflix that are designed to incite hate or violence, and they don't believe The Closer crosses that line. He acknowledges that these are hard and uncomfortable issues, and Netflix supports creative freedom and inclusion.
Yeah. He also talks about stand-up is held to a different standard, if you will, than some of the other things that are out there. But some of the other stuff he talked about, it's too successful. So if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, which a lot of people base stuff on, currently it is sitting at 97 out of 100 from both critics and audiences. That's tough to get rid of. And the fact that they're pushing back, I think is good. When you allow groups to get you to do things based on a few angry tweets, at some point in time, once you move, they know they can get you to move always. Once they push you, they know they can get you. It's totalitarianism when it comes to my think or no think. This person has a different idea. He pokes fun at somebody who's in a position or somebody I identify as or whatever it is. So you must get rid of all things when it comes to this or else. And it starts in a small way and it's trickled up. And I don't think people realize that. The culture fight going on in junior high, high school, even elementary school with critical race theory and a lot of these things, some of that stuff in there is insane. Some of it is understandable to talk about. It's separating insanity from sanity and also how you present things. But it starts in a much different way, but it's working its way through. There is a former professor from China who has taught for well over, I guess, a decade at the University of Michigan, who was removed from his position because he showed the 1965 motion picture Othello, starring Laurence Olivier. And he was in blackface. And kids have him removed for that. Now, if this was a movie making fun of that, if this was a minstrel, that would be one thing. But the demands on what they wanted Michigan to do and the things that what they've done to cancel somebody. This wasn't somebody who was doing something. He was showing a movie. He comes from China. He probably thought, well, these people aren't as oppressed as me, right? I mean, and he talked about the diversity which he worked with. He kowtowed them. He bowed down to them essentially in, trying to apologize, but it didn't save his job. And then eventually he was like, screw it at this point in time. But you allowed people to dictate so many things and essentially have their terms, like you're surrendering to them. And when you do it once, they're going to come back over and over and over again. Over and over. And you'll be beholden to them. The fact that they, being Netflix, said no is a good thing. The fact that Netflix said sorry. They had people try to hack into one of their board meetings yesterday because they're so upset about this. Here's something. If you didn't raise a stink, people would have probably watched it, moved on. You brought more of a spotlight on it, and now more people are going to it than ever before. Think about that. Sometimes you watch something and go, yeah, I didn't find that funny. And then you go, move on. Let's try that again. Oh, I didn't find that very funny. Move on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. MyPillow gives you my slippers. Now, with your My Slippers, you get a 60-day money-back guarantee. You wear them indoors, outdoors. You have an amazing faux fur on the inside. No foe was hurt in the making of these slippers. And you have this amazing suede, leatherish thing on the outside. Just delicious feel. Slip on, Moccasin style. I don't know you can say that anymore. Probably going to get canceled for that. And incredible. 50% off right now. Now, the thing that makes these things so amazing is the wear and tear. How many of you guys get slippers you get for Christmas, this, that, and the other? And, after a while, walking them a while, the sole gives out, and you're like, not with these. So you got the My Patented Fill, and sandwiched in the middle, you have memory foam, and then special gel, which helps cushion when you're walking. And it helps so much. You guys have no idea. I'm really sore. I've been working out hard. You will love these things. You will absolutely love these. 50% off right now. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. My slippers. You'll love these. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Check out the deep discounts across all of the MyPillow products, from the MyPillow to the Giza Dream Sheets, the towel, and the mattress topper. So many more. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Take it anymore! Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
Mr. Shannon, let me start with you. You waited all this time to go to space. What's a one-day delay? I know weather has delayed the trip by a day, but given the circumstances, is that no big deal or a cause for concern?
Well, that's no big deal for you because you're warm and comfortable in your studio. Big deal for us. I'm deeply disappointed because I was building up the enthusiastic response, and now we've got to wait another day. But as you point out, it is really worth it. What's a day with this extraordinary experience that we're about to have?
Oh, Shatner. He's going up into space. I bet they'll be Shatnering himself tomorrow, though. It's tomorrow, right, Phil? Is that when he's leaving?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Correct? Now, will you... where do they land? They don't land in Florida, right? That's not where they come back to? Or is it
No,
if
actually,
they land?
I don't know where they land.
Oh, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So Shatner's going into space. He's going into space. It's going to be awesome in space.
And Mr. Shatner, you have inspired generations
of space
imaginations for generations with your iconic character. Do you take this now?
T.J. Hooker.
That was Captain Kirk. But here's William Shatner sitting here about to go to space. Do you take this also as an opportunity to inspire?
No, I'm taking it as an experience.
Okay, you're done with the inspiration business. This is you taking a joyride here.
The only question is, if I got to interview him, I would only ask him about T.J. Hooker. How hot was Heather Thomas? Do you ever talk to Adrian Smed? I don't care about space, bro. You were T.J. Hooker. You were T.J. Hooker. Do you get that? Next to the Fall Guy, it was like my favorite show. Did you ever meet the $6 million man? just ask the most random questions. The good news is, if he goes to space, he should totally listen to this. Demi Lovato wants us to understand certain things when it comes to aliens. Oh, don't say that.
I had this crazy experience that happened to me in Joshua Tree. It was this bright light. It kind of moved in like these weird ways that a plane wouldn't move. My goal is to find out what really happened. I'm Demi Lovato, singer, activist, and UFO experiencer. I'm hitting the road to investigate the unexplained and the unidentified. What if extraterrestrials aren't traveling light years to visit us? What if they're already here waiting for us to reach out? I will be rising from the ground like a skyscraper. Wow, I'm so excited.
Wow. Whoa, it's going to be so nice. Yeah, she's got a show. She's got a show, kids. The word aliens, she wants to be abolished. It's unidentified. So funny, though. I can't believe you're here, Mr. Alien. Did you just put that on any? I'm just going to get a card that says activist. Like, totally just encompasses whatever crap you want to spew. Hey, kids, we had fun. We'll do tomorrow. Woke Wednesday. We got so much stuff we didn't get to today. Have a blessed, wonderful, fun day. Laugh a lot, not a little. Eat yourself some tacos. We'll do it again. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.